There you go. One, two, three. It's
Okay.
being taped. Good morning, everyone. Here's Celso Batalha, Rick Francisco, and Mike Masuda in order that I can see on the screen. Let me start sharing my screen. There you go. And share screen. Now you should be able to see my screen.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. So this is a note of materials or topics I would like to discuss briefly, and I send this all to you. The first is with respect to Spring Labs. You all received a tentative schedule of labs, and it's very important that that schedule be maintained, or if some changes are required, the changes are made, in a reasonable um, way, so that we can um, improve and make it efficient the work of Van Wong and Rick Francisco, providing us support, lab support. Just for Chris, which is our new adjunct, there will be no lab assistant on Saturday when your lab is on. So, but once we set the lab, I mean, you see a demo even on Friday. On Friday, you have Van Wong around, or Rick Francisco. You can ask questions, and you should be able to run the lab. Olenka was mentioning yesterday that in her experience running these labs for the first time, once you tell students what to do, since most of the labs have an important computer component, the students go ahead and do it. The only thing you need to do is to make sure they do it right. In which case, Rick Francisco is taping some of the kind of little details in labs that you should be attentive. And if you could review the tapes, that would be good. So, floor is open for labs. Any idea?
So I just finished the first video that you did on the veneer track demo. So I'm going to be uploading that possibly this weekend.
Okay, sounds good.
And then possibly the second video we did yesterday. So
Okay.
They should be there by probably at the beginning of the week.
Okay. All right. So Friday, this coming week, Friday is a PDD day. PDD, Professional Development Day, PDD. And I will be available to both you, Chris, and Kevin Walton, to meet with me, and then we can go over some of the labs, so that at least in the first and second week you have some smooth transition. Mike Masuda, I don't know your schedule, but would be nice if you could be around to help them as well.
Sure.
But the main point is you guys are entering the college, our college instructional circle for the first time. It's students are great, and the support is going to be terrific, and so just contact us anytime you need it. So that's it. So that schedule is good enough. Let's move on. All right, so that's good. SLO assessments. I kind of run. By the way, I run. I could not find the 2B SLO that was put it in my slot. I don't know what it is. I have the envelope. The scantrons are not there. This is the strangest thing. I cannot find the 4A SLO scantrons. I found Olenka's scantrons, but I can't find my 2A scantrons. It's really bizarre. So I run Orlenka's cards and I run all the astronomy. All the astronomy is perfect. Is all put together, and the average was horrendous. Was 40 something percent, 47. I have somewhere in my I forgot the paper, by the way, at Evergreen, but then sent it to me, and I was organized, but I haven't put in a document yet. But anyway, so the results were not good, and I mail Lynette Aspen and Brad Carothers, and they are responsible for these SLO assessments and all these documentations. Ask them what should we do. My interpretation is the way we did is not the right way of doing and getting decent grades. I mean, what are the decent grades? Somewhere around 60, 70%. So that you have room to say, hey, we need to improve. We need to try to get 71%, 72%. So that's why we need this, and that. So basically. But 40%, 30%, 21%, like in 4B, this means we did something wrong, and the students clearly didn't put any effort in trying to get it done. As we all know, there was no incentive either for the students to do well, and perhaps this is something we should be attentive. Perhaps we should do like other professors do and put the questions embedded in the exam, in which case we should all kind of work together to have this done. Anyway, so the floor is open to discussion, and if you are not here now, and if you are watching this tape later, you can email me and I will put in the minutes and circulate later.
Well, who else is here to discuss besides the three of us that I see on screen?
Nobody.
Okay. Just, if there's anybody joining by audio, I couldn't tell.
No, it's not. As far as I can tell, because we would hear a clicking sound when somebody comes in.
Okay.
And I have not. So, but people, I will take the YouTube video and send it to everyone, so people might. So be careful with what you say.
Of course. Now, as my SLOs, I put them into the exam at the very end.
Yeah.
And I don't know if my survey of these things were any better or any worse than having them as a separate entity, outside of a test. There were some students, I think.
Which class, which course are you referring to?
Well, I believe it was Physics 4A. I basically incorporated those into the exam, the last few questions.
I don't know. I don't have a result. Did you do statistics on it?
No, I sent all the results to you.
Right. So I don't know. But if you incorporate in your final exam, you should have them done, right?
Right.
Oh, you didn't grade them. You didn't put them as
part of the grade. No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they were just,
I don't know.
The last few questions were that, and I told them explicitly before the test that some of these things we didn't quite have for the exam, but do the best you can and answer these things.
Did you give cheat sheet, like formulas and things like
well,
that?
they had their sheets, yes, but I think the emphasis of the sheets were basically towards the end of the semester's material.
Okay, so just a second. Chris is joining us. I can see his window popping up. I'm not sure if he's listening anything. Let me see. Yeah, Chris is there. Chris, can you hear us? Yeah, I know he's there. I'm not sure if he's hearing us or.
He could try texting little things on a keyboard to see.
Let me see.
Okay. Hello?
Hello? Hey, now I can hear you.
Yeah, it's Chris here.
Hey, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Okay.
Hi, Chris.
Okay. I can hear you. I can't see you. I have a ghost image there. But we were talking about the SLO assessments we did in the fall. So and Mike Masuda was talking about it. Okay, go on.
So yeah, basically the SLO assessments were done at the end of the exam. They weren't graded as part of the class. I just said this is a survey to basically assess the class in general to see how well we are doing as instructors.
Okay.
And some of them answered very earnestly these things, as far as I can tell. Others just sort of skated through it, and you can sort of tell they didn't think about it so much because they all answered C's or something like that. So, yeah, it just, they didn't really care. And so that may have skewed our assessment of this thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. These assessments now and the results of these assessments are key for us. I mean, we cannot hire a full-time lab assistant. We cannot hire a new faculty. We cannot hire or expand our program. We cannot buy major equipment if that data is not supported by SLO assessments. That's the way it's going. And somehow we have to make these assessments nice and well done and have the students somehow engaged, even if we offer pizza or something. But it has to. If it's anonymous, that might take them the drive to perform well. That's my take. And so SLO was all anonymous. I think it should still be as far as sections are concerned. I mean, we should put all sections together and not distinguish which section that is, if it's evening section or morning section, whatever.
Right.
Unless some, for instance, if there is only one section, like one physics 2B session, like now in the spring, Olenka is going to be the only one teaching 2B. So there is no, I mean, that's her section, right? But if there are several sections, we should combine them and make a whole number, a whole statistics for that particular course. But really, we should. I'm suggesting to Lynette and Brad that we should forget about what we did in the fall last year and do something different in spring, which means we have this week now to figure this out. Because if we, this is something to be done as a group, as all of us should decide for something. You know, it's not just you, Mike, or me. I mean, we have to, to do together.
Now, I'm wondering. There's two things I was sort of hoping to do at the beginning of my Physics 4B semester coming up here. The first one is to assess the students from 4A, what they know in terms of physics in general. Some may be new students coming into my section. Some may be the ones that carried over from last semester. But in any case, there needs to be a bare minimum of what they need to know in order to get through 4B. That's one thing I need to do with them, is basically have a diagnostic. I know there's a professor over at San Jose State who used to have these things called diagnostic exams, a survey basically at the beginning of the semester to make sure that they know enough material in the background to be able to get through that class with a competent grade. I may sort of just start enforcing something like that at the very beginning, just to let students know, hey, you are going to be able to do well in the class, or you're going to do miserable in the class because you don't know this, this, and this. You know, that's one thing. The other thing is having the SLOs as a questionnaire at the beginning of the semester and at the end of the semester. Same questions, but you ask them, to do this as a survey, and it has to be an individual survey, not a group effort, to find out how much they know about, physics 4B material or 4A or 4C, respectively. I don't know if that would help to see if there's a major change going on while they're taking the class, from the stuff that they knew going into the class versus the stuff they're supposed to be knowing after they get out of the class. What do you think?
I think they are terrific ideas. For the first one, you can do this survey in the beginning of a class, and then let the students know, listen, you're okay, or listen, you are not okay. The question is, if the students are not okay, what are you going to do?
There's not much you can do. They have to. It will. That's the problem. It will lower enrollment.
You see that cliff over there? You are there, man.
Yeah.
Girl. So what are you gonna do? I think in San Jose State, what they have some dividing waters like that, and what they do is, okay, if you are not qualified for these 4 series, because they do that in the 4 series, then they direct the students, and I think this is optional, to take some basic course with math background. That's my understanding. Olenka, correct me if I'm not right. But we don't have that. But you could at least let the students know, listen, you should know those stuff before you start 4B.
Right.
And then you should study somehow.
I think at San Jose State a number of years ago, they had a departmental entrance survey going into the Physics 4 series, or the 50 series over there, the calculus-based physics. Those who did not score well before on that particular survey, they were highly, highly encouraged, if not told to, take this class called Physics 60, which was basically physics done on simulations in a lab. And you run the experiments on screen, and it teaches them some of the values of what science is supposed to be doing, how to calculate, how to grab data and such, so that they are ready and prepared to go into the Physics 4 series,
right.
Or 50 series over there. That carried on for about 3 to 4 semesters as under Alejandro Garcia, Dr. Garcia over there. He developed the manual for this thing, and I taught the lab. And it seemed to work pretty well for the time, but it didn't quite catch on as a class. And so I think they got rid of it. I don't know if something like that would work at the community college level, if there's some sort of departmental questionnaire or survey that they have to take before going into the 4 series to sort of stop them before making a big mistake, before jumping off the cliff without a parachute, so to speak.
Well, I would like that particular idea to be used for students entering the 2A, 2B series, as far as math background is required, and we do not address that with Math 13, which is pre-college algebra, or intermediate algebra. It's not even college algebra, and the courses are called trigonometry and algebra-based physics, and students are not required to know neither trigonometry or algebra, and that's ridiculous. So we have to do something with our 2A, 2B, and one of the ideas was to create a course, probably 1 credit. It's not transferable, it's kind of internal, with mathematics methods, especially algebra and trigonometry, and have the students kind of learn what a sine and cosine and tangents are, and how to project vectors, things like that.
That would make sense. It would save a lot of time in the Physics 4 series, in the Physics 2 series.
Yeah.
If they had that going into the class.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, you said the second idea, can you refresh the second one for your 4B? You said choose.
The second one was basically having the same set of 10 questions, basically.
Oh, yeah. So this, in fact, that was the idea we had in the fall, but I didn't have time to prepare the questions before the fall semester start. So that's what I'm saying. Now, we should decide if the questions we used in fall semesters are good questions. And what I would do today is to send all the exams again to all of you, and please review them, because I think Lynette is going to come back to us and say, yes, yes, let's forget about fall and do everything in the spring. I'm almost positive she's going to say that. Perhaps not. I don't know. So if she does say that, I would like you to look at all the questions, make changes, and then I will send it to Reprographic, and that has to be done before Wednesday, I think, because they want to. Reprographic will not accept any more material. I think Thursday or Friday, something like that. So I will mail the exams now or today. So review them, especially if you are teaching the course. Make whatever modifications you want, and then send it back to me, and then I can send all of that to Reprographics, and then, as you said, in the first week of class, we all should have our SLO questions available, and then you'd know what the students would be tested at the
Right.
end of class. I mean, I'm not saying we are going to teach the monkey how to do monkey things, but at least we can direct our thoughts a little bit more, especially in astronomy. One of the SLOs has to do with spectroscopy and transitions and absorption and scattering. We barely touch these things in the lab. I mean, we mention, but I mean, when you put the questions last week of class on transitions, the results are horrible.
Sure.
And then we can probably do something to at least get some positive results.
Who made up the 4B questions?
I think Paul did.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I've not heard back from Paul.
Yeah.
I need to get information from him about 4B.
Yes.
In the next week or so that I can figure out how to put the class together.
Oh, do you need any? I mean, you know the labs, right? I can get together with you this coming week and kind of set the labs apart.
Sure.
And then in fact that would be good also for Olenka to have some of the labs set up at the end of the lab, so you can play around if you have time.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're similar to the stuff that I remember doing at San Jose State in the Physics 51,
yes,
then it shouldn't be a problem. But if
No,
they're
no,
brand
no.
new, completely different, then
yes,
I need to go through and work with these things. So
yeah. So let's do that. I will be going to Evergreen Tuesday for sure, and then Rick is gonna be there in the morning. We can probably make a table of demos in the far back of the lab, and then Rick is very technical. If one of us need any information, Rick could be a source. Then it knows all the labs quite well. She also could be a source of information in the afternoon, late afternoon. So Rick in the morning, then in the afternoon, basically.
okay.
Yeah.
Do you know if Paul prepared a lab manual for 4B?
He did.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? Okay.
I don't know. I mean, the list of labs that I sent was based on an old list of labs. But I didn't receive any reply from him. He might be traveling, or I don't know.
Okay. Also, something to mention: Zhao is retiring.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I just saw that email this morning. So
Yeah. So he's gone.
okay.
All right. So then she's gonna purchase the Scantron. There's a mistake here. She's gonna purchase the Scantron, so we all should have our SLO assessments available with Scantrons, and all of us should be attentive and collect the exams back so that we could use it again and not let them circulate with the students, right? So that's the idea. Okay. Any other question with SLOs? Nope. Okay, move on. Equivalents. That's the whole thing. If you need anything, any demo or anything you are used to having your classes, and you think Evergreen doesn't have, especially you, Chris, or Yeah, we have to ask Van. Van knows exactly how much money we have and how to purchase. She's very skillful in all of that, transferring money from here to there and talking to the proper person. But that has to be done soon.
We are sort of at a disadvantage also because we just taught 4A and I'll be teaching 4B, which I've not taught. So I don't know what equipment we're going to be needing for 4B as of yet.
We are good. I think we have good equipment for B. The only equipment or parts that I remember we were having a hard time was with inductors. We didn't have a nice set of inductors, and also for labs that require milliamps, I like to use, instead of the power supply, I like to use batteries. And for that, I like to use the plastic case that you can just put the batteries there and connect the wires and connect that to the breadboard. So then I asked her to purchase, and I think we will have that as well if you prefer to use batteries. I like the batteries; they are very simple, and one of our instructors a couple of times I saw with a power supply 500 volts instead of 10 volts.
What?
So
Oh, boy.
I think we use, especially if we have one Faraday capacitor that is simple to use, that one Faraday capacitor just to see the decay. And do the curve, the logarithmic curve, and everything. With one Faraday capacitor and 150 ohms resistor, you can have 2 minutes kind of a decay nicely done, and you don't need to worry about the internal resistance of a power supply or a voltmeter interference with your data. If you use an inductor an inductor that is in the micro range, then you need to think about the internal resistance of your voltmeter. So this one Faraday capacitor is great for that, but it accumulates a heck of a charge. So any crazy things you do, especially at 500 volts, you might have a blue light in your lab. That's for sure.
Yeah. No sticking wires to the tongue.
No, don't do that. Yeah.
Okay.
So so let's move on. Stonehenge on your backyard. This is more for the astronomy crowd here. We are going to launch this month, in fact, and Rick is working in the background with it, I'm pretty sure, a project, kind of a citizen research group, which is not for the college itself, but is for community, called Stonehenge in Your Backyard, or some words along that line. And the idea is to build a Stonehenge miniature, and perhaps outside our building, to build a Stonehenge that's suitable for San Jose. We have to come up with the proper dimensions and everything, but Rick is going to start out with the small scaled version of it. So I'm just putting this in the minutes so that we make it official, but that's the idea to go.
Do you know what materials we're going to be using?
Well, for the smaller model that I'm making, I've been collecting very dense foam that we could carve in to make them look like the monuments they have there. And then we could display it once we get it all the correct positions and dimensions right. Try to get as much of the monument you can there, because I know I have in the back room, the workshop, we have this big board there that I'm going to be using to put the miniaturized version of it. And I think that's like a meter square board that I have in the back, and we could use that for the area where we could put the miniature version of Stonehenge there.
Now, this is going to be outdoors and weather permitting, of course. It's been really rainy
Yeah.
lately, and it's probably like a swamp out there where the soccer field is at this point.
Yeah.
So, when do you sort of anticipate this going up?
Well, the miniature one will probably have it just for display within the building, the science building, maybe somewhere displayed like that hallway where people walk around.
Hmm.
Like what's that area right where the stairs people where the opening doors open up?
The
There's
prep room? Oh, the entrance?
Yeah, near the entrance.
Okay.
We could probably display it out there, and then we could say we'll have a plan to make a larger one. Maybe we could get some student volunteers to help with that once they see the display there.
Now, this is going to be a temporary Stonehenge, right? It's not a permanent monument on campus.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I figured that foam is not going to last very long. So,
No.
Oh yeah,
Um,
because it will deteriorate with sunlight and weathering.
yeah.
Unless we build it out of concrete and rebar.
Well, I mean, there's that big circle area, the loop at the top of the.
Oh yeah,
like
Montgomery Hill.
Yeah, observatory, that big grass loop there. That would be a pretty good place for that, if anything, just as a temporary place. But
Yeah.
I don't know what sort of rules and regulations are in terms of digging and putting these piles into the ground if there's like pipes.
We could
Yeah.
use that circular part, especially for the eclipsing part. I mean, the Stonehenge, the 56 poles. In fact, they build that way to predict eclipses. So putting up there in the observatory would be very convenient, especially with
Yeah.
the solar eclipse in August. But one of the main points of Stonehenge, and I think that's what would bring a lot of a community interest, is to predict moon rise and moon set. And the problem with moon rising and sun rising, especially in solstice, is that, solstice is that we have the hills in the eastern sky up in the observatory, and
Right.
we can't see well. So if we put in the field outside, I think the mountains will be collapsed. I think we have to do some measurements there.
Yeah.
I saw somebody build one of the Stonehenge somewhere, and they do have mountains in the horizon, but they were able to put sticks, and still you can see, when the sun rises, it's kind of a stay on top of the stick, so you can have some fun classical visuals that
Mhm.
way. So, but we have to do some testing.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, like I said, if we built this miniature model, we could bring it up there and align it with the correct positions
Right.
and choose a day where we could see, like when the sun rises or a moonrise, and see where the correct positions would be.
Would be how far would we be from the
Yeah.
proper position with a clear
Now,
horizon?
Once we're done with the materials, where are we going to keep this stuff?
Well, I'm not really sure what scale we're going to be using. Maybe the eighth scale of the dimensions, and see how big those are. I don't want it to get too big.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to do some math and figure out the scaling so it'll be portable enough that we could pull it out of the ground and store it away.
Sure.
We don't want to build a big structure because it would be hard for us on daylight savings to make all the changes.
I wonder how much it would cost to make custom-made rectangular obelisks for this thing out of inflatable stuff. And so you use a means to inflate all of the blocks already placed in place, already placed where they're supposed to be. So you just put it down anywhere, and then rotate it to where it's supposed to go, and then to turn on the pump to have them all inflate up.
Those are that. But there's trying to find someone that could glue the seams and everything to make them like a volleyball, not a volleyball, but what do you call it? Like a beach ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was thinking, I mean, I'm pretty sure the college has a lot of foam that is laying around from instruments and shipping that we could use hot glue to make bigger blocks, and we could attach like metal spikes on the bottom so we could push them into the ground. It's just as a temporary way of doing it.
Or really bring big granites and put in place where we want our planetarium built.
Okay, Samson.
That would require a huge ceremonial
There you go.
process, I think.
I'm gonna get my white robe right away.
Giant pulleys with ropes.
There you
To
go.
pull these things up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will announce through Meetup soon. Once I can work on my next topic of this conversation, that's program review. So probably over the weekend I will release something through Meetup and see responses. So the point is this should be something independent from our curriculum. It's just something for fun and to get public involved. So that's the idea.
Okay.
The last topic, I know Mike has to go sometime soon, but I think we are okay with time, is the program review. So the program review, I start putting information in there. I have Mike information, he already put it. And I found a template of what they want us to do. Let me show you here. I think that's the one. Oh gosh, I hope my computer doesn't crash. See, this is not good. Can you see this hourly glass running here?
No.
Oh,
no, I see.
Can you see it? No? Oh, I tried to open a file and it's not opening. Let me try again. But you can see this document, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, for some reason I'm not being able to open the program review. Yeah, this is. Yeah, I can't open. Let's see if it's here or red. Oh, it's there.
There it is.
Yeah, there you go. But I can't move.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't move. It's my computer is frozen now. Okay, so this program review is a combined effort of physics, astronomy, and chemistry, and physical sciences. And at first, I mean, that's how we did in 2011. What's the importance of it? So the importance is anything we wanna do in the future, it will be based on what we write now in the program review. So where we're gonna be in 5 years from now. So that has to be stated in the program review. Now, to state anything in the program review that we want, here's the point. We have to base what we want on students, and that means SLOs and data from SLOs. That's how I think it's so important that we get these numbers straight somehow. So I start writing, and then I realize that some of the ideas we would like to be implemented in our program were placed in the grant proposal we submitted last year for the grant proposal includes. So what I started doing was to just copy and paste from that grant proposal and realize that now astronomy and physics is too big. And I talked to Michael and I suggest if we could kind of a split from chemistry and do independently. So that's where we are now. And Michael said, well, I think that's fine. So I'm working on this program review, and I hope to have some scratch of it, some designing kind of outline by the weekend, and then I would send it to all of you to review it. And Michael want to have a some document in his hands this coming week, so he can send to Lynette, and then Lynette will send modifications, suggestions, and perhaps she will approve or not that we do independently from chemistry, and then we move on. But the idea is to have this done by April. I think that's our final deadline. We should have a scratch by December, so we are late. But I think we are okay as we add things from the includes grant proposal. Now, for the astronomy crowd, here are the main point is to get a telescope that replaces the 14 inches. So Rick, you have the word.
What's that?
Oh, you have the floor.
Oh, well, what was that? Yesterday, Celso and I were looking at some newer telescopes. What do they call them? A reflector. What's that? Richie Chernoff. I think Chernoff type. Yeah, there were two models. One by 14. I was looking at 14-inch, but Celso wanted a 20-inch.
20 inches. Wow.
Yeah, Richter Chrétien
Chrétien.
Yeah, Chrétien telescopes. Yeah. Well, I think if we, I mean, the includes proposal was envisioning we would initiate scientific research with high schools and it kind of touch the middle school on that process. So if we are doing any sort of research, the best telescope we can get is what we really want to go for. So then I say, okay, 14, 16 is good, but let's try 20. In which case we have to change the pier and the mount because we need all of that to be different. And the idea is to put in the roll-off roof building. So the dome building would still be housing the refractor, but the roll-off roof building would be more suitable for research and also for viewing, right? So and
yes,
yeah,
yes.
But so that's one idea, and I think we will be putting that in the proposal. The other one is off the grid. We are trying to make a case for a planetarium for our school to complement the work in astronomy, but more particularly to increase our outreach to middle schools. And this afternoon at 1:30 we have a conversation through the same site, the same chat room. So Mike, if you are available, I know you're going to the dentist. We're going to be talking to the people of College of San Mateo. I know the dean from Hartnell, and so they have a planetarium, and so they're gonna tell us, exactly what's the daily cost of a planetarium like that. I have specific questions for them, like what sort of programs they do with the middle school, how much it costs, what's the personnel they need for, and yearly cost of maintaining one. The bond that we just passed, $800 million or $700 million.
Yeah.
The Senate Eric Naverson, and he thinks that we had a good chance of having the chancellor and the board to approve. But that has to be in the program review. So I'm working something on the planetary in the program review. So basically, the program review will be maintaining and improving our courses, perhaps open up new courses in astrobiology and introduction to research, updating Astro 14 and Astro 16. And Mike, I think we talked about that before.
Yeah.
And in physics, I didn't put anything in physics besides studying, reducing the number of hours from our four serious courses, from 5 hours to 3 hours lecture per week instead of 4, because other community colleges do the same, and why not us? And investigate what should we do to improve the 2A the access to our 2A courses as far as math background is concerned with the algebra-based physics course. Now, the second part was in the research ground. And the research ground I just copy over includes ideas from the Includes grant. The idea is to put in Evergreen an advanced lab in physics, and this advanced lab in physics, C1 Fan, which you guys know, he said with $5,000 he could create a high energy physics labs and monitor that with students. He's very skillful in organizing field trips to IBM, to SLAC, to several places where the students could go and kind of blow their minds. So I'm putting the creation of this advanced lab and having somebody 3 hours a week responsible for. So that has to be put in there. I'm also, because of Includes, I'm proposing a new full-time faculty and one full-time lab tech. So right now we have just one lab tech, which means Van work for us half time and Rick works for us half time. So we have one full-time lab assistant. I'm requesting a half of lab tech, which means a full-time lab tech plus the half time that Van already provide us. So that's the idea. And the reason for that is, well, if you have a 20-inch telescope, we need a lab night assistant to make sure the research goes on, to make sure the equipment is well functioning, and all of that. And I didn't put anybody yet for the planetarium. Assume the planetarium will come, and I will have better idea when I talk to these people today at 1:30. And the last thing is the planetarium. I start making the case for planetarium, but I have to wait and talk to these people before. So that's the program review. So I would like to send you this material over the weekend. If you could review, that would be good. And Michael wants that sometime this week. So I would say, Mike Masuda, if you could read that over and make English corrections and additions and whatever to Wednesday, that would be great. And then you send that to Michael.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. See, I still have an hourly glass here going on. Michael.
Wow.
I hope I can save this file and not lose it. Okay. Any other idea?
Yeah. Say, I want to ask Professor Batalla there.
Hey,
how do you
Chris.
pronounce your first name?
Celso.
Oh, Celso. Okay.
Yeah.
Then number two, you're going to send me the physics 4A lab write-ups. Do you think this weekend or?
Oh yeah. I will send it. I will send it right away. Yeah.
Okay.
So the way it goes, I send the labs, but you should kind of adapt, because I try to make the labs fit my personality. but you should try to fit yours, right? So you can use that as a guideline, but if you want to make modifications, and feel free to. And also, once you have your labs kind of outline, you can send the file to Reprographic, and I will send that information to you, and then you can print them. Reprographic can print them for you. You don't need to make copies, and then
Okay.
it's very helpful that way.
Okay. Then, additionally, for the student learning outcomes, for the Scantrons and other paperwork, how is that delivered to me? Do I have like a mailbox or something, or what happens?
Van Duon, she's preparing us in the prep area. In the shelves, there are shelves with the name of all professors and lab techs, and you should have one there. So once I make copies of SLOs and the Scantrons and everything, I will put each one there for each of the professors.
Okay. Then I have a question for Mike Masuda. When I was getting interviewed, you pointed out at the facilities here that the whiteboards were kind of a hassle to deal with. Has that ever been changed or updated, or is that the same thing as before?
As far as I know, nothing has changed. You're going to have to talk to Vera or Michael in the office to get the proper materials to erase the board. My suggestion is they have the Expo spray in a bottle, and they have this yellow fabric, microcloth fabric. Basically, all you got to do is do preliminary erasing with the dry eraser, and then spray that stuff onto the board or onto the cloth, and then erase it. It'll clean it off very nicely. For as long as you have that liquid, that's pretty much like gold in the department right now, you'll be fine for the semester.
Okay. I think I'd want to get my own supply and make sure it's always on hand.
Exactly. Do what you can. We do have, I think, a few bottles of that stuff in Vera's area. So if you ask her very nicely, she'll get you a bottle of that stuff. They do sell it at CVS also, which is just down the street, but they have very limited amounts of that stuff.
Okay. Do you know if I'm ever getting a key to the building or how that works? Do I get access to the building on the Saturdays when I come in?
I don't know. You might have to talk to Vera again for that stuff as well.
And I recommend you talk to Vera now, today. Call her 408-270-6490 and ask her the keys to the building that you need that. So you need a key for SA111 and a key to the back door. I don't remember the number, Rick. Do you remember?
The back door is SA123.
Okay. SA123 and SA111. That's what you need. Yeah. Oh, and also you need a key to the lecture hall, which is SA
119.
119.
Yeah. And the lab for 4A would be 111.
Well, yeah, 111. Yeah.
Yeah. To the classrooms, usually you have keys for the lab, something that looks like this. And then for the building and for some of the other classrooms, you'll have the electronic thing that looks like this, little key fob. So some other professors and part-timers, they have a white thing. It looks like a card, basically. It's an electronic card. Make sure those things work before your first day of class, because last semester there was a number of part-timers that came to Vera and said, this isn't working. This was pretty much the first or second day of class, and they were completely swamped with that stuff. So do it before school starts.
Okay. Could you give me the number for Vera again? 408?
408-270-6490.
Okay. All right. I will call her and try and get it set up.
Yeah, that would be good.
Cool.
Very good. And Chris, very important for you. you should have everything set for your Saturday encounter on Friday. All labs will be set before. You could. Srini is using. Srini Vasan is another professor. He will be teaching 4A in the evening. So what we could do is to have the labs all set for you on that week, so that you have everything set when you get there. So your students will not waste a lot of time trying to assemble things. But if you could review what's going on Friday, especially because Van is going to be there, that would be great.
Okay. Do you know what time Van leaves on Friday?
I'm not there in the evening, but I think she leaves around 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, if my class starts at 6, I'll have overlap time to discuss
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Okay, that'll be good.
The best thing to do is to email her. Email her and say, listen, I need to talk to you at, let's say, 5 o'clock or 5:30. And then she will make sure she's there, because her time in the afternoon is more for chemistry. But she can kind of shuffle things around.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. So as you can see, I'm having trouble here with my computer. I hope I can save this conversation. If not, that's it. Okay. Talk to you later.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.